Hey everyone, this is Steeks. Sorry about the construction sounds in the background. Just having some work done in the house. Anyways, so here is my test build for my test game for my punishing build for Flaxitives contest. Hopefully that doesn't come in too loud, but it probably will. I'm just choosing which map is better. I think River is slightly better. Um, Anyways, so essentially what my deck is built about, it's a punishing deck, which means it uses cards that punish based on the number of cards in the opponent's hand. And the gimmick behind it is that it forces the opponent to draw many cards. Um, so I'm not sure how that's going to work for him. I guess I can punish on the wizard. It's best with enemy dwarves because I can use Dwarven Warcry. Oh yeah, I guess I should decrease it. It's gonna be so. Well, technically I have pausing on. I don't know what speed this is. I usually play really fast. Uh, I just need to see the card briefly to know what it does. Anyways, so essentially what this build does, it's a little too slow. What this build does is builds up it builds up cards in the opponent's deck and then hits them with as many punishing things as I can get to really just wham on them. So punishing cards do bonus damage based on the number of cards they have in their hands, which is usually two. I guess they're all two. Two bonus and two bonus damage per card in their hand. It's also devastating blow, where if they have a lot of armor, I can use that because it does 2 damage for each armor they have. Um, so, anyways, let's see. I guess I can just pass. Um, I guess I could have thrown down a healing presence, but another thing this build does, is it uses roots to hold the enemy in place. Um, what is he using that for? Untreat stoutness now. Anyways, let's see what I want to do. I'm probably going to get hit here. Um, it also uses Cone of Cold to lock down dwarves. It's mainly designed for anti-dwarves. I think Flaxative is just purposely going to let me build up his stuff. Just to do a huge combo and show you what's the potential. Um, but we'll see. Um, so let me talk about more of the build. Essentially, so this person here um, she's a priest that just builds up inspiration and draws. These two are the punishers. He has a lot of punishing strike from Heart Ripper. I guess I should have turned Steam off, but whatever. Um, this has a lot of punishing strikes. He also has Cone of Cold to slow down dwarves, so you can get the hits off without them, running away. And this person has roots. Roots are really strong because they prevent the enemy from moving and playing step attacks, even if you're next to them. They just can't play step attacks at all. Um, so, so it's a really strong card, and since he's I don't know, whatever. I was gonna say, since he's next to me, I don't have to quick step, but I probably should. Uh, Another thing that this works really well in this build is if they have things like Martyr, which help them draw cards, and oh, look at all those. Okay, I got it. Okay, so a big thing in the meta right now is card advantage, which is pretty much the biggest meta of all. Oh, he's frightened, so he can't attack. Um, also, okay, nice. Um, so a big thing in the meta right now is, there we go, is card advantage. So having more cards than your opponent or denying them cards. Um, so what this build does is I'm just gonna build up his stuff, his cards. Oh, Laxative's gonna help me out just so you can see how much damage it could potentially do. Um, so let me just build this up. So another interesting thing is the other punishing cards that are interesting is Punishing Strike, which does 2 bonus damage, but it also has a base 3. I wish it had 3 damage per card and no base, or maybe like a base 1 or something. Be a lot better, and I can play Simple Strike. So he has a lot of cards, and you'll see how much it hits for. Some of them might be armor or blocks, so usually I use Warcry to get rid of them. And it's also a cantrip and discards them immediately, so they don't have time to activate to get rid of this card, which is it's really good too. I've been seeing a lot more of it at higher level plays, just because people run tons of defense because they don't want to get hit by those huge hits. So anyways, let me do a test to see if he has any defenses. He can't move because of Cone of Cold, so he can't dodge it. Um, he does have some armor, but mobility, just like if he had Martyr too. So this will only do 2 points of damage because I just did a ton. Just did 22 points of damage with that. And this would do 24 or something like that. It says only 2, but it would have done like 24 or something. So it can do a lot of damage in theory. You need to get the right cards though. So I'm doing that that's a cantrip. So I'm playing it to gain priority on passing. So this is kind of what the build does. Just builds up things. It's not really feasible at high level. I guess it's feasible for low level players pretending to be high level players with lots of step attacks, but not knowing how to use them well. Um, so, and one of the items, Death Touch Maul, is really, really strong for this build because it's just like it's 4 punishing items. It's 2 Touch of Death and 2 punishing strikes. And Touch of Death is really good for this as well because it's punishing, even though it doesn't have punishing in the name, and it's penetrating, so it ignores armor, which makes it really strong. Um, Makes it really strong too. Oh, Winds of War. This build is mainly designed to stop the meta of 2 warriors, 1 priest, which is really big right now with Mass Frenzy and Martyr. Um, Can work with other things, but usually wizards have range, so they'll just cast spells. They won't be able to actually be punished, and I don't know what to do. They won't actually be punished. Let me just wall this up so I can get my build up better. Um, so priests usually have range, like a range one stabs, and they also usually have buffs, so they can usually shed their hands if the opponent figures out what you're doing. Wizards always have range that they can just cast on people, and so it's mainly designed just for warriors, either elves with their drawing through mobility, or dwarves because you can use Dwarven Warcry and they can't move with an encumbrance of 2, generally. Um, so let's see what I want to do. Just pass. So he knows I have punishing now, whatever. Heart Ripper, Staff of Trask. Staff of Trask is poor man's Heart Ripper. Has I think 3 punishing bolts, 2 pushback parries, and a slow, which is for 1 token. It's really really strong. Oh, there's a good one. So I'm gonna go here. Then I can step Death Touch. This build also works really great against people that stack Officer's Harness, which is a big thing in the meta as well. So really this build is just designed to stop high level play, although it's not super viable because you're using Inspiration to force the opponents to draw cards, and when they're drawing cards they also get blocks and they get armor. So it's like a double-edged sword. It can work really, really well or really, really poorly. Generally, it doesn't work well, but it can lead to some really interesting things. Um, like, you can run something similar to this if you just take out the inspiration instead of throwing cards on them to make them do more damage. You basically just let them build up their own cards, which a lot of people will do. That's why Heart Ripper is really strong right now. So I'm getting rid of the ones that he saw. So he thinks I don't have any. Like, he knows my build, so he knows I have tons. But get rid of this and that. So you could do something similar to this build by just let's see. By just not having the inspiration and just having another Punisher. I want to see how much damage I can. I mean, obviously he would be casting spells and stuff now, but let's just assume. Oh, or not. Either way, so I know. Um, so anyways, so I mean, each of these punishing bolts, which they're really strong items because they have a range of 8 and damage is 0, so um, they can go through things like Squeamish because they don't actually do damage, so Squeamish doesn't check for killing. It's more about the text, which is +2 damage for each card in their hands, which is extremely good because you're usually going to be doing maybe 4 points, maybe 4 points, 6 points. At range 8 is really, really strong. That's like a lightning bolt type thing, like obliterating bolt or whatever it's called. But these they can just ramp up even more. So that was 16, and then the next one, because he drew a card, in theory, be even more. Yeah. So I mean, you can do a lot of damage in theory, and punishing bolt is really, really good, especially for small maps where people are like gonna go on VP spots and not move because I mean I guess he could just spend the move to stand there, But most people won't do that. They'll just, do whatever. Um, they'll hold on to cards from one round to another just in case they need it. So essentially that's the build. Um, Huzzah. You can see I'm just doing some more punishing. You can see it can do a lot of damage in theory. It's really niche though, and it's really just designed to stop the current meta. So even armor doesn't really stop it much. Anyway, so there you go. There's my build. It's kind of silly, well, really silly, but also kind of interesting at the same time. So, anyways, hope you enjoyed watching. Have a good one.